What's going on, folks? T.J. Lauerman, a.k.a. That Sports Gamer here, head of community for Out of the Park Developments, and that way, over there, as you can see, Matt Arnold, one of the lead developers on Out of the Park Baseball, and Out of the Park Baseball 20, as you can see, the beautiful new logo that was revealed last night by Chris. Matt, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going good.
Busy? Busy out there?
Yeah, it's busy.
Look, Matt, the chat is already busting you for not having headphones.
Yeah, well, sorry.
He's a developer, guys. He's not a professional streamer and man of the people as I am. So, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, we're here tonight to talk about Out of the Park Baseball 20. The latest edition of Out of the Park Baseball. You can go over to preorder.ootpdevelopments.com right now and pre-order that bad boy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to guess when you're not going to talk and then your audio. That sounds like a great idea. Matt, are you currently in Germany?
I am not in Germany right now.
That looks like the Torontonian sky out there from what I can see.
Well, it's actually facing into my bedroom.
No, I can see the CN Tower.
Oh, that's the reflection off of the glass, I guess.
I believe you can see the CN Tower from anywhere in Canada.
It's pretty tall.
Is it still the CN Tower?
It is still the CN Tower.
All right. I feel like that's
it's
something.
Not the Canada Tower sponsored by,
the CN Tower of Toronto, or the Toronto Tower of Ontario. Be a good name for it. We have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We've got some screenshots that are up over from our newsletter that we're going to take a look at. A whole laundry list of changes that Matt sent me to talk about, including several other changes, which is always my favorite change on the change log. So, Out of the Park Baseball 20, I don't even know where to jump in. There's just so much to talk about. It's already been an amazing day. We've had such great feedback already from the pre-orders. Everybody's super psyched. Matt, why don't you just kick this off by telling us a little bit about yourself? I know we had you on a stream last year and 2 years ago. I think you were just on an episode of Out of the Park Now. Just give us a little bit of your background.
Yeah, no, I guess I joined Out of the Park 4 or 5 years ago, so I've been here a good length of time.
I think you joined the season before me.
Yes.
That feels right.
So I've been here enough that I can do what I want. That with yeah. So I work on the main game. That's my bread and butter is the main stuff. So
and shooting down the amazing ideas that I give you.
I don't shoot down the ideas. I say they're on the list too. Do very, very large.
I still don't believe this list exists, but.
I'll forward it to you later, but it's I haven't, it grows more than it shrinks. Let's just put it that way.
I'm sure if we watch the chat very closely tonight, we'll get some more stuff to add to the list tonight.
That is always our fans are amazing. Want absolutely everything out of us, and there's only so much that we can do, especially if it takes me, a few hours to look up. NPB compensation rules. And yeah, sometimes that stuff actually makes it in the game. We do have something like that actually in this year. So
that's the kind of stuff that excites me. I want to go bring all the Japanese players over. I want Bryce Harper to not sign anywhere. I want him to go to Japan, sign with the Giants or the Bay Stars. I'll be excited about that. It's actually been a pretty crazy day because now we have a lot more work now that Arenado re-signed, or he signed an extension. Miles, I don't know how to say his last name, signed an extension. And today is apparently exactly 1 year to the day that JD Martinez signed his extension last year, or his contract with the Red Sox.
Yeah, no, we're getting into the. You like to think that almost it's the last few days of the off season, but spring training has started already. So now all the roster stuff is going, and all the roster team, I'm sure, are going to be going pretty crazy in the next few weeks to make sure everybody is updated properly in the system, and all these contracts are entered, all the ratings are updated.
All right, so let's do the quick rundown of OOTP 20 stuff you guys need to know. Preorder.ootpdevelopments.com. is where you can go and pre-order it. Currently, the game is 10% off over there, so $35.99 US dollars. I have no idea what that is in your country of choice. There's a little drop down if you're in a different country. You can check it out. That will get you the standalone copy of the game and access to the beta on March 18th. The game releases March 22nd. And if you're a Steam user, that's the day you can add it right now to your Steam wish list, and then you can purchase it on March 22nd. Don't worry about it, because the that pre-order 10% off is going to be extended through March 29th, so that everybody can get their pre-order in. The one thing we need to look up is what's going on with Origin. I have questions out to people so that we know what's going on with that, because I know people have already been asking about that. So we don't have anything to report on that as of right now. Also, tonight's stream is only going to be focused on core gameplay stuff. Next week, Monday night, I should know the date of next Monday, but I don't know it. March 4th, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. Chris and Marcus will be talking about Perfect Team stuff. So if you have any Perfect Team questions, save that for then. Am I missing anything? I feel like we covered it. That's everything.
I think that's the basics.
Pre-order. Go pre-order your copy now. Get early access to the beta on the 18th. The game comes out the 22nd. Unless Matt has more work to do. Matt, get the game out on the 22nd.
The game will be out on the 22nd. As always, we never finish, so
it's always evolving.
It doesn't make it in for the 22nd doesn't mean it's not going to be in the game, a week later or a month later.
What was the big thing we added last year? Oh, multiple players, right? That was the big thing last year that we added midstream.
Yeah, I think that came out in June last year or so. We've added in inflation and retaining contracts. I think have been in post releases in previous years too. So,
do we plan on adding in the ability for one player to say, "I want the biggest contract. I want to wait for this guy to sign, and then I want to beat his contract, but then I'm also going to find out that this other guy signed for a higher yearly average, and I would also like to beat his contract."
Yeah, that's the challenging stuff, is getting our in-game system to be as crazy as real MLB players and real MLB GMs, and all of that is the challenge. We try our best. Every year we're always tweaking things and adjusting things, and
yeah, and Marsanra in the chat wants to know if they're going to see actual gameplay of Out of the Park 20. Not tonight. Getting actual gameplay and stuff of that all takes a lot of people to sign off on things, and currently we don't have all those sign-offs. So hopefully the week before the beta, so hopefully that March 11th week, we can start showing off some actual gameplay, some of the 3D graphics and stuff. But yeah, we need a lot of approvals and sign-offs for all that, so we're just going to be showing off the screenshots from the newsletter that you guys should all be signed up for. OOTPdevelopments.com/newsletter if you're not already. All right, do we want to go through this changes list? That's extremely long.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's the best form. Talk about stuff, or I can answer questions or anything. So.
Do we just want to dive into the big number one thing on that list? The live start options and all the live services that are going to be coming into the game. I don't know how much you have touch of that, but if you want to go into some of that, that would be a good start, I think.
All right. So the live services is definitely one of the things coming in. So I've done a lot of work on that. There's still a little bit more to do, but yeah, I mean, the main focus of that, I would say, or the main thing that people to know what you can do with it is, if people remember last year, our September 1st roster update that we did, we came out with a September 1st patch that lets you start on September 1st with all the stats updated from the season, with the players on the new teams, all the standings and all that stuff. That essentially, we took what we did for that, and now let anyone run it whenever they want. So using all the live services stuff that we've had to use for Perfect Team, we have access to a whole bunch of data and a whole bunch of stuff that we can give. So with this, you can basically start up at any day in the season, and we'll have stats updated to that day. So not just, if you're starting in June, you don't have to start on that day in June. You can start any day from the start of the season to then. And then depending on what options and stuff you want, everything is going to be customizable and configurable. So if you want to have updated ratings for players, you can do that. If you want updated stats and standings, you can do that. If you don't want, transactions to be updated, but you want ratings to be updated, that's perfectly possible too.
So if your team was playing well, and then in real life they went on like a 12-game losing streak, you can be like, I'm just gonna go start from before that losing streak.
Yeah, let's redo the last week and see if I can do better than the Yankees did this last week. And you should be able to do that without any troubles there.
Rimmicknorf in the chat wants to know
so that if you have a game in progress, you can also update player ratings based on their stats on the season to date as well.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
If you want to start your game at the start of the season and you play through, a few months of the season, and then you notice that, your favorite AAA player from the team got called up and hit, 8 home runs in his first week, you can be like, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing his ratings updated a little bit. And you just kind of hit button, and then, things will go.
Get that nice little bump. Do you know if you'll be able to play in challenge mode with that?
Most likely not. I think the plan, at least initially, will be to not have that available in challenge. We may open that up later, depending on how we see things going. I think for sure, we have a lot of services stuff. So I think once we have it more refined, that we know exactly what's going on with this, then potentially we could open up to challenge mode as well later.
But somebody else asked, this only applies to the 2019 season, obviously, because we only know.
Yes, that will only apply to the 2019.
Okay, so live stuff, super cool. You definitely want to check that out. That's kind of good because especially if you start like late in the season, but you just want to get if you want to start back at the beginning, but with the updated rosters, that makes things a whole lot easier, and not having to wait for us to put out special rosters for you guys.
Yeah, I know, and I know every year, every time at on around the trade deadline, around September 1st, everyone's always asking us, is there a new roster pack coming? Is there a new update coming? Can we start the game now? Can we start the game in the first part? Mm-hmm. And the other cool things about it too is, so there's even other things that we've added since we did that September 1st pack last year. So we even have minor league standings. We don't have minor league stats, but if you start on June 1st, the AAA season will have its first, couple months of the season, and those stats or those standings will be updated for that too.
Yeah, and in the past, doing stuff like the trade deadline update or the September 1st call-ups and stuff, that was a whole lot of manual labor by a whole lot of people. Now it's, I guess, easy because you can just do it.
It's a whole lot of labor, but I've already done the labor for you, so you should be able to just go and.
All right. Player overall potential ratings will now show the last scouting report on the player. Optional option.
Yeah. So these are there's a lot of other point by point overall, but for example, this is a case where I know in the past a lot of people always keep complaining about saying, I've got a scouting report from 2 days ago, and why does my player page show a different overall value? So we've added a few more options, just a few more tweaks into the system to essentially keep everything a lot more in sync. So there's certain, the way that option works is there are certain cases that it won't work in all cases. So some people may need to keep that disabled anyways, but for a lot of users, it will make actually getting a new scouting report very interesting because you really need the new scouting report to be able to get updates on players.
Do you want to talk about any of the new achievements, or should we leave that to Marcus?
I mean, we've added a whole bunch of new achievements, so they're not just perfect. All the new achievements we added in the fall, or should now apply to any games. We'll have those updated in challenge mode and stuff too. And then we basically went through, and from feedback and from everything, it's everyone kept complaining. It's like, why is there no achievement for a triple play? So there's achievements for triple plays now. There's an achievement for an unassisted triple play now. There's other achievements if you hit, get a 2020 season or a 40-40 season. And so we just, added a whole bunch of new ones there. So
No Jake Sully wants to know if there's any update for online leagues.
I mean, there's not too many specific online league updates. Obviously, roster, the AIs and stuff will always apply to online leagues. We're always keeping in mind how, what we can do to improve them. So usually we do try to squeeze in a few things too, and a lot of that stuff also comes in April, May, June as well. We have a little bit more time.
Now we're also going to have the ability to have teams participate in multiple tournaments at the same time. Tournaments was a big thing. I know people have been asking for that because some of these people out here run the craziest leagues. So yeah, multiple tournaments, something they've been asking
for. With tournaments on top of tournaments and stuff. So, with this, we've opened up the ability a little bit too, so you can try to run a little bit crazier system, and everything should work out without too much trouble there.
And I want to say we added more fixed association draft order in promotion and relegation leagues. Could we just do like FIFA now? Are we just like set now to do FIFA?
I don't know FIFA well enough to know if we
need.
There's a few bugs in the when you're doing promotion relegation stuff where the teams that got promoted get put at the bottom of the list when they should have been at the top of the list and stuff, and that's all that's been fixed now as well. So there's a bunch of bugs like that we have gotten through as well.
Yeah, I feel like, well, we should. I don't have that list in front of me. You know what's not on your list is all the new leagues that we've added this year.
Yeah, that list that I gave you there is not necessarily the old stuff, and that's more the list that I sent to people, the stuff that I've done.
This guy, we got.
But yeah, we've got. I think it's 4 new leagues. It's
I know Germany, Spain, Czech Republic.
Yeah, I don't even remember what leagues they are.
I know Italy was already in there.
And the Czech Republic.
I missed one. What was one I missed?
So, yeah, so Germany, France, Spain, and the Republic apparently.
France, that was the one we missed. All right, yeah. So Germany, France, Spain, Czech Republic. I might go and see what's up in the Czech Republic. I think the most fun I've had still is when I went in and played. Did a couple seasons in the Netherlands. And ended up winning the championship on a perfect game. And I lost my mind. I thought it was possibly the greatest thing.
I've never had a perfect game.
I did not believe it when I saw it.
I've simmed and seen a game score, box score game in sim leagues that I have, but never on my team. I don't even know if I've had no hitters. Like, it's rare.
Now that I think of it, I might have streamed that game. I don't need to look now. But speaking of pitching, you spent way too much time making this amazing new thing for us. We're now going to be able to do a whole bunch of new player strategy options, including the opener and follower, which I assume is going to take us a whole video to describe one day, but you can try doing it orally right now.
I mean, the basics of the opener follower system is, we're trying to what MLB does, they keep throwing crazy things at us. So, and a lot of it comes down to how we handle stamina and stuff and fatigue in game. So with the open system, there's a few ways you can set it up, and you can basically have relievers start a game and then have a starter in and pitch like he's a starter. So you know, when Ryan Stanek starts the game, he doesn't try to pace himself to think that he's pitching 6 innings. He knows he's so.
Yeah, so I was looking, or I was watching MLB Network, and they were talking about the Rays are going to go with, I think, 3 traditional starters, and then the next 2 or 3 games are going to have openers. So you're going to have to teach me how to do that.
Yeah, well, we'll play around a little bit. I got to make sure. I think there's that shouldn't be too much of a problem in game. So, and we'll see if it works as well for us as it does for them, and we'll see if our AI can actually do that as well as when they build it. Because the AI can play with openers. They don't necessarily play that well with them sometimes, but they can try.
Well, watch
this too, because a lot of people are not exactly fans of the opener strategy. It can be disabled in
league. Tell us more about the improved AI that you've added for substitutions, defense, and rosters and depth charts and stuff.
So, I mean, the AI changes to me, this is really, when it comes down to it, this is the biggest changes that we've done this year. We've spent a lot of time working on in-game AI, on roster AI, on depth charts, giving you more strategic options, handling all these weird cases that are just a real challenge and have always been a challenge. So the main ones is you can, is the letting your starters back up at other positions. So if Javi Baez is your starting shortstop and you want him to play second base when the second baseman skips and have someone else play short, you can set up your depth charts like that, and the AI will come in and sub them properly. And that, if you want to set up your defensive replacements so that everyone shifts around in the end in the late game, and Zobrist comes in and becomes your defensive replacement at second base, and the second baseman switches to shortstop, and your left fielder goes to right field. You can set it up that way, and then when the AI comes to do the defensive replacements, they will do that, and they'll do it properly, or as properly as we can do it.
Excellent.
There's other strategic options that we've added too. So you can essentially use some of the force game strategies to force guys into platoon roles if you want to force them into a platoon role. I don't even remember. There's a few other ones too. I think you added as well. If you want to, you can use some AI strategies to force a guy into a certain lineup spot. So if your manager is controlling the team, you can say, I want this guy hitting second in my lineup, and the manager will try to get him to hit second in the lineup, but he won't always, depending on if he's an outstanding manager or not. So there's stuff like that. And then all of the with those late game defensive subs, a lot of the in-game substitution logic has been completely redone almost from scratch in terms of when you pinch hit, then who stays in the game and when do guys shift around. So hopefully the AI comes in and pinch hits for a guy, and then for some strange reason your backup first base plays shortstop for the rest of the game because it can't realize that someone else should switch over. Hopefully all that is a thing of the past. So
excellent. Ben Strike in the chat has a question. Are the current MLB CBA rules reflected this year? I know one of the things you added on the list today was that the 2017 free agent compensation option is in there, and Nippon Pro Baseball.
So obviously we don't get every CBA rule because the CBA has 600 pages or something like that. But yeah, we have updated a lot of the compensation rules, so we have something that works very similarly to the current free agent compensation, where if a guy signs for $50 million, but the team is a revenue sharing team, then it's a third round pick, and otherwise it's a second round pick, and otherwise it's you spin around 3 times and a goat goes back to the other team. Like we try to do a few of those things. With that, as I said as well, we tried to fake a little bit of the NPB compensation rules too, because they have a cash payout. And since I was updating the whole free agent compensation stuff, it was, well, why not do their roles? Because not everyone just wants to trade draft picks when you sign free agents.
Big man 8U wants to know. I'll paraphrase his question. Has there been changes to how two-way players work? Obviously, we had Ohtani last year. Michael Lorenzen's going to be a two-way player this year. I feel like there's lots more that I can't think of off the top of my head that are going to be doing it too. So
we haven't done any necessarily other changes this year. I think we'll keep watching to see how things go, especially with someone like Lauerman be a pinch hitter / reliever in his case. So we might have to play around with things a little bit better.
There was a question from Twitter today. Someone was asking about if we added any new historical stadiums or anything. I think due to licensing, we don't have any historical stadiums in the game, but I don't believe anything has super changed with stadiums, jerseys, logos, or anything. So anything that you were able to load into the old games, you should be able to bring into OOTP 20 without any issues.
Yeah, no, that should be fine. Yeah, I don't think we've added any new. So we do have some updated stadiums. But otherwise, too, like our fan base makes some of these amazing historical stadiums that it's not worth it for us to do it because you just take their stuff, which is as good as anything that we do. So
better sometimes, because I've seen complaints about Fenway Park's paint job. It's not green enough. It's got to be more green.
Oh, well, we'll look into that too.
Another good one in the. Can you talk about fatigue? Have you changed anything to fatigue?
I mean, with the openers and followers, certainly a lot of the fatigue logic keeps getting updated. I know there's definitely a time a few weeks ago where we went in and tweaked a little bit more on how relievers pitch. And I mean that's the sort of stuff that every year we always look to try to make improvements to make sure that things are working as good as they can. It's it's always a tough balancing act because there's always some people who come in and say, why can't I throw a 4-man rotation? And other people come in and say, well, I mean, no one in MLB does a 4-man rotation. So
any updates to trades? Any updates to trades? Asks Austin Pike. Or trade logic.
Logic as well as we're always making changes to roster evaluation, AI roster building code. We've spent a lot of time on it. Some feedback in our from our beta teams that trades look a lot better this year too. So already, so I mean that's again stuff that every time we make a change to make sure that the AI is valuing players better, then the trade logic will get better with
that. Going with trades, let's talk a little bit about free agents and how we've improved international amateur free agent contract negotiations.
So we've definitely done a few tweaks to how the amateurs will look at deals. They'll give you now a little bit of feedback if they really like your team or not. They fixed a few issues where I know some people in the past have kind of said, if I offer a guy the max, then he just ignores everyone else and always signs with me, and they won't always sign with you anymore. Guys will be a little bit more, I think they're more realistic in when they ask for the max and when they're expecting that, and will hold out for offers and talk to other teams. The AI teams will be a little bit smarter in who they're going after themselves as well. A lot of good changes there.
All right, there's just so many. There's so many
stuff you haven't even talked. There's like some of the stuff I want to talk about too is the tiebreaker code. We've completely rewritten the tiebreaker code.
Tell me all about that, because I think I came up with some crazy tiebreaker idea. And then you said, what was it? Where I wanted? Oh no, I wanted. I want multiple tiers of wildcard playoffs or something like that. Something that was ridiculous and made no sense.
Yeah. Okay. So we don't have everything exactly perfectly, but we certainly we fixed a lot of the past, and we've also added other little extra page where it will, like, if you're in a tiebreaker situation in your league, sorry, we'll actually list, here are the tiebreak games. So this is, team one, it's the Yankees versus the Red Sox in this tiebreaker, and then the winner of that game will play, Cleveland in this next tiebreaker later, and you can actually go through and fully see the tiebreak schedule and understand what's going on with that. And I think we handle everything less than 4 teams almost exactly like MLB would do it. And then even if you have like 8 teams tied for 6 playoff spots, we try to do something there that works. Although I can't guarantee you exactly what MLB would do in that situation. 15 teams tied for all 5 or all 6 playoff spots.
Cavacom wants to know if you went in and updated the in-game manual.
We will go through and update the in-game manual. A few people mentioned to me, question, how does this work? And I keep telling, I will go and update the online manual to do it, because especially with openers and followers, with a lot of this other new stuff, it takes a little bit of explaining to do. So we'll definitely spend some effort to update that.
Ben Strike wants to know if there has been anything done to. I'll just read the question, because if I try to paraphrase it live, doesn't work. Has league expansion changed to better reflect real life, i.e., getting a couple drafts to fill a farm system before you begin play?
No, unfortunately, we haven't quite gotten around to the stuff that was on my list. I really wanted to, but time just kind of ran out on me. So we may look at doing some league expansion changes after release, but I can't guarantee anything.
Just reminded me of something that I added to your list earlier that I don't think we talked about in a long time. So when you get out there to Germany, and I can have Marcus yell at you to work on my list of good things. Now I remember, because I don't want league expansion. I want the reverse.
Oh, contraction drafts?
Yeah, contraction draft.
I want that too. That's again one of these, like, I wish there was a good way to do that, but yeah, I didn't have time to get around to.
I'm gonna find you time.
Yeah, no. Other stuff. You didn't even ask me about the players. So you can now get this nice, cool little graph of every single hit and stuff the guys hit.
Hey,
and unfortunately, it's not. We don't go back multiple seasons for that, but that should certainly help you when you wanna lay out your positioning, fielding on that. With that too, we've updated player tendencies, so now players can be a ground ball hitter and a push fly ball hitter, like a lot of MLB players actually are. And it's just really cool to see where all your guys actually hit the ball over the course of the season.
I'm going to use my spray charts to go and edit my stadium so that I can hit more home runs. Obviously.
Well, you're going to use the spray charts to know exactly where to put your fielders on the give you the real edge on the AI there.
No, I just need to move the fences in so the balls can get over. Then the fielders don't matter.
Yeah, well, that works too.
3 true outcomes.
No.
All right, what else is on this list? You've done some updates to Rule 5 players. Now they must remain active on the roster for 90 days, where the status carries forward.
Yeah, again, that's every time we go through. Hey, there's this MLB rule that I think we should have. We often look through that and are like, I wonder if we could do that in the game, or I wonder if we should do that in the game. And a lot of times it's, yeah, let's do it. So we added a few new roster rules for that. We've added some other little AI for things.
Right, because last year, you could take someone in the Rule 5 draft and just DL them for the whole year, but you'd lose them, right? Forget.
In our game, you could deal them for the whole year. They would stay.
Right.
With rules, the actual MLB rules, if you actually DL them, they still have to spend 90 days in your active roster. Otherwise, they're still a Rule 5 player. So if you tried to send them down afterwards, they'd have to go back to regular Rule 5 stuff.
Another hot fire question from Cavacom. Who comes up with the funny injury scenarios? The sad part is the answer to that is real life.
I mean, we can't keep up with the real life injury scenario. So, like, I mean, you know this as well as I. Like, every time in the summer, like in real life, when someone gets hurt, you know, when Trevor Bauer flies his drone, when Syndergaard comes up with the hand-mouth disease, or when someone trips on a sprinkler in spring training, like TJ sends me a message and is like, "Why isn't this in the game?"
And then he sends a message. Then Matt sends a message back. Why don't you write the thing that we can put it into the game?
Yeah, and so we try to add that in. So some of the crazy injury scenarios that are created by our text team and our roster teams and stuff, as like, this is what they thought was interesting and funny. A lot of that is, no, that actually was a case. Like, I think it's like someone can cut their hand, like chopping a vegetable or something, was like, there's been multiple players who have had that happen to them in the past. And not just like minor league guys. I think it wasn't like Smoltz, I think, did that to himself one off season, I think. I remember right.
Sounds familiar. Because I know we had, Trevor Bauer did the drone thing. I think we put that in pretty quick right after that happened.
Oh yeah, I got that in within a week or so.
Someone fell through the roof of their winter house or something. I forget if that was last off season. I think we got that in. Noah Syndergaard contracted hand, foot, and mouth disease. If you see that one, I wrote that one. That was a Matt says, "This is really dumb," and I said, "Well, if nobody's going to do it, I'm going to write it." So that's in there. Trying to think what else was good. Shark attacks. Shark attacks are always fun. There was that. I don't know if you remember. There was like an August, like 2 years ago, where all I was seeing was people tweeting about guys getting shark attacks in their season.
Yeah, I think that it showed up on Twitter like 3 times within a week or something like that.
Oh, what was it? Someone. I know there's been a lot of falling through tables.
No.
Any changes to default face gens for players? I don't know, they don't like how Aaron Judge
I'm not sure
looks.
what we've done there.
It's more of a Lucas question, right?
Yeah, a lot of this stuff. So I don't know everything that goes on. Like every time I look, I don't necessarily work on everything. So like I know we've also done a lot of changes to a lot of the historical player importing stuff that Marcus has spent a lot of time on. We've done a whole lot of changes to all the historical. If you're playing with like an as played lineups and transactions files, I don't know exactly what's going on there, but I know we've done some edits on that to make sure that the computer is actually keeping the correct players on the roster, I believe, is the big changes for that. So you don't have to run like a 40-man roster all season if you're, it'll actually run the guys who are playing that week. Yeah, I know there's a few other changes too with some of the historical stuff. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, the historicals. There's also, I think we have. Well, so if you're playing an older season, players get hurt when they got hurt in real life too. So I hear, so I read. So
that's what I've been told.
Yeah.
Do you know what stadium is shown as the background now in the game? What stadium this is? We can find out. We're going to find out, and I'm going to have Chris. I think Chris is in the chat. He's going to go try to figure it out. What were some good injuries? Jeff Kent washing his truck. Joel Zamaya playing Guitar Hero. All good injuries. Can we suspend someone for playing too much Fortnite?
Oh, the Fortnite ones. That's one we have to get into. I don't know who's going to write that one, but
Kevicom had Vladimir Guerrero Jr. retire because he wanted to pursue a career in basketball.
Yeah, no, those ones often come up, and everyone complains. I did my go quit and play another sport, and MLB is now trying to figure out how to change the rules to stop that from happening.
Yeah,
like it happens. It sucks. It's annoying, but
oh right, that reminds me of I had a crazy storyline that I wanted to do that is going to take way too much time to write.
Yeah.
I need to go back to that. There might be a chance that someone's going to retire to join the
storylines are a lot of fun. Like I don't look at them day to day when people write them sometimes, and it's like I read the ones and I'm like, how did we write this to get in the game? Like these are amazing scenarios and tough decisions to make, and
yeah, I have a
great team that we have that works in a lot of that stuff.
I have a multi-year idea, which ends with Mookie Betts retiring from baseball to become a professional bowler. It's gonna take a while,
yeah.
but
he bowled a perfect game like a few years ago.
Yeah, he just won.
He just won some tournaments.
Yeah,
and I know it was a storyline a couple of years ago that he bowled 300 like.
And I think I put
off-season bowling once.
And I believe I asked to add his bowling tournament win to the list of things that go by in the quotes when you're loading games.
I don't think we've actually added that, but
what am I doing over here? You know, I'm busting my butt. I'm giving guys hand, foot, and mouth disease.
Actually,
yeah. Is Kyler Murray going to be in the A's in 20? He's going to go to the NFL, I guess, right? So, I guess he's gone. Get a Michael Jordan in your minors. Michael Jordan's already in the minors if you do a historical league.
Yeah, historical minors are crazy. When you look back at some of the
you gotta get yourself Randy Savage, John Elway, Russell Wilson. Little known fact, you can not be good at baseball, but go on to other sports and be very, very good.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of players who were drafted MLB and opted other ways. So
very rarely happens the other way around. The only one that ended up being good. Oh, I just had this. I just had it in my head. I forget who it was. There was someone good in another sport that came over. Oh no.
I mean, there's some people who play like minor league stuff. Like I know Larry at some point, and obviously he had a pretty good season, a pretty good career in baseball.
My answer, what I was going to say is, you can fail in baseball and win championships in the other sports, but you can't go from other sports to baseball and win championships, because I had to double check to make sure that superstar wide receiver for Notre Dame, Jeff Samardzija, was on the Cubs when the Giants won the World Series, and then he was on the Giants when the Cubs won the World Series. So he didn't actually make my whole argument invalid.
Oh, that's tough luck for him there.
Are we doing MLB Manager 19? We are not doing MLB Manager 19. That's going to become OOTP Go. Going to be based on the Out of the Park 20 engine. Getting complete rewrite. We will have more to talk about that in the upcoming weeks. Are there any 3D historical stadiums like Sportsman's Park? Covered that before. No, but the community does make amazing ones. Check the forums. OOTPdevelopments.com/board. BOARD. Anything created in the old games should come into Out of the Park 20 with no problem. Yes, Out of the Park. It's OOTP 20. The XX are Roman numerals. But I did add a filter on Twitter to search for anybody that tweets hashtag OOTP20 or OOTPXX, just in case. What else? Tim Tebow gonna make opening day roster probably.
I've been looking at the roster AI the last few days. I haven't seen him in their lineup. I think if they brought the DH to the NL, maybe he could squeeze in there.
I was just gonna say, on that thing that we're working on for those people that we can't talk about, you should have made Tim Tebow the DH. It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Well, he just had he had a good hit, but some guy made a amazing diving catch on him in center field. So, what else? Historical challenges? Question mark?
Yeah, I don't think we have anything with historical challenges.
Okay.
Another thing it would be very interesting to get in. I'd love to do that at some point, but it takes some work to do. So.
Any changes to owner goals?
I know we've definitely fixed a few bugs and stuff in the owner goals. We're always thinking of other ways to update them and improve the owner logic. Although personally, I also really enjoy when my owner is just stupid and weird and annoying, because that is what owners are like. Not that I know exactly, but it's, when your owner goes and signs some big, few $100 million player, like, I mean, the owners of teams are meeting with player agents this week.
Yeah, that's what was I just listening to? Was it I think I was listening to the Ringer MLB show, and they're like, yeah, the Phillies are trying to get Bryce Harper, but it's not really about the GM or any of the baseball ops guys right now. It's just the owner, because he's the guy that's going to have to write this check at the end of the day. So if he doesn't love him,
I heard the Giants owner, I think, really gung ho about trying to go after him, but their GM is a little bit more hesitant too. Like, it's so, like, all these owner goals, when they come and say, my owner has this completely unrealistic expectation for me, it's like, I mean, I don't want to fix that because I don't think that's a bug.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little crazy. I just don't like when it tells me sign this guy that I can't afford. Give me more money, so
that's the really annoying one, when it's like, I got the 38-year-old guy on his last legs. He wants, $15 million a year, and my owner signed him, and I'm just like, I want to. If he took a 1-year deal, I'd do it, but he wants 3 years, and the number 3 prospect in baseball coming up position 2, and it's the tough call. It's fun, but it's tough.
All right, let's see. I'm just checking the chat, see if I see anything else. Does the game engine react to ratings the exact same way as last year?
Well, the exact same way as no. We're always updating the rating engines, the player AIs. As I said, we spent a lot of time this year on all aspects of AI. So it's in-game substitutions have gone through a whole bunch of changes. The AI evaluations of when they actually build the rosters has gone through a bunch of changes. Building the depth charts has gone through a bunch of changes. Building the lineups has gone through a whole bunch of changes. As he said, they'll even take into account your preferences, your suggestions too, in a whole different way than they've done in the past. The actual underlying AI evaluation of players is always undergoing, little tweaks, little adjustments. It's I mean, that's the bread and butter of the game. That's what we're known for. That's what we're built on, and it's never good enough, which is a real problem when I go and say I want to do something and then spend 3 days trying to make sure that the AI gets some guy in the lineup and
Jay Letty wants to know if there's any updated stats, such as offensive and defensive WAR. I know we've got base running statistics. And
we've added base running statistics, so now players have a base running rating, not a rating, base running thing, stat. You can see how well your players have actually ran the bases based on, base out stuff. I don't think we've added other explicit offensive WAR and defensive WAR stats, although, I mean, they're essentially already in the game. You can look at I forget which ones we have. Runs above average or runs above replace. I think we have some. We do have an average stat in the game already that is essentially 4, but slightly different.
Ben,
Part of it is we kind of run out of columns on the page too to be able to display. So
we can have stats. We can have advanced stats. Well, we have advanced. We have 2 advanced stats already now.
We've got. I think we only have players, so we might. We're getting very close to needing at least another line of super sabermetric stats. As I said, with the spray charts, that gives you another little impression. We've got some ideas of other stats we want to get in at some point, but they aren't quite trusted enough that I don't really want to go into details right now with. But we'll hopefully get into the game within the next, in the next year to have a lot more of the stats that you might see on Baseball Savant or MLB.com and all of them in. So
I think we just need to go to like 74-inch 4K TVs and just have it all there.
Yeah.
What else we got? Are coaches' stats attributes filterable this year instead of just by cheating and going into commission mode?
We haven't done a lot of changes to the stuff. I mean, people don't like it necessarily, but I still enjoy having a little bit of fog of war on the coaching. I feel that that's a little bit more accurate to what they actually, to how that actually happens in real life. And it's also a little bit of the fact of, potentially a lot of the coaching ratings don't necessarily matter as much as people want to think. Like they matter, but yeah, it's harder to get them to display properly to not like completely lie to you.
Yeah, they're always lying to me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm really, really good at not letting pitchers' arms get hurt. Liar. Just liars.
And it's also really fun to be just like it's also too. I definitely believe that if you have the ratings in front of you, it's easy to be like, I would fire my coach, but he's like perfect at this one stat that I care about, and so you're gonna like not do that. Whereas when you don't have the ratings there, when he fails to you like 3 times in a row in the playoffs and you get ousted in the first round, it's a lot easier to be like, yeah, I think we need to go a different direction. And I do definitely believe that in game, the actual coaching tendencies, like their personalities, their profiles, the sabermetric versus small ball, that stuff definitely matters a lot more than some of the other ratings. So,
all right, I found the question that I want to end the stream on. So I need to ask you if there's anything else that you want to cover that we've not covered yet.
Oh, let me go through. I mean, it's a large list that's going on. I think all I'll really go through and say is, we've done a lot of changes to make sure the game is as great and as stable and as impressive, and that the AI is doing everything that it can to both win and to both be realistic, which are often at odds with each other. So, it is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of really good changes.
It's one of those weird things where, you look at baseball on paper and you expect one thing to happen, but then real life is completely different. And it's a little hard to make a game that has to try to balance that.
You gotta do both. I need my AI manager to do roster at some point, but you want to make sure they do the right number of stupid rosters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like when you look at, I'm obviously going to rip on Rich here a little bit. You go back to the last few years and you're looking on paper and you're like, oh, this Mets team's going to be amazing. And then you sim in the game, and it's like, all right, the Mets team is amazing. But that's not how it works out in real life. I don't know how you do it. Mainly because I don't know how to program anything. I made a smiley face once in college. It like smiled and then frowned. But yeah, that's hard to get real.
That's the whole other one. Like the AI logic internally for like our like if the team is the New York Mets check is just like pages and pages of its own stuff.
Just throw out a random injury here, something that we didn't even know was a real injury.
Yeah, if the pitcher is on the Mets, then we add an extra 30 days to their injury. If they
if you're a upcoming prospect for the Braves, you're just going to get Tommy John surgery. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
But most important question from Brandon MUC: is there a plan for an all-day stream on release day? The answer to that is a resounding yes. On the 22nd, I think I'm going to be streaming for like 4 hours. 4 hours? Maybe. That seems like a lot, but yeah, we're going to start our new stream franchise, which I can't tell you yet. Top secret. Did pick the team. Did pick a brilliant name for the series. I'm very excited. I think Chris is going to be streaming some that day. We'll be starting off our perfect teams that day. Whole lot of stuff to cover that day.
Yeah, we'll try to log in, and the alcohol might be flowing a little early on that.
Yeah, you guys will be in the chat. Maybe. Yeah.
We'll stop it and say hi between beers at least.
But it's already gonna be, well, if I start at noon, it'll be like 6 over there.
Yeah, as I said, between beers.
You've already hit the go button like 10 hours before that. So I don't know. We'll see if you guys are around. Maybe we'll Skype you in from Germany.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Thank you, Matt, very much for joining us. Much appreciated.
No problem.
Answering everybody's questions.
Thank you all for listening to me and for being fans of the franchise. That's been a big part of our lives for the last 20 years. It's impressive.
Yeah, we were talking about on the latest episode of OOTP Go. Out of the Park 99 launched 2 months after Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was born.
Wow.
So, the game's been around. I think I was a freshman in high school. So we got that going for us. All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming out to the stream. Really do appreciate it. Matt, again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we will see you back here tomorrow night, twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. Adam and Jeff will be streaming Franchise Hockey Manager at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And then again, next Monday, Chris and Marcus will be talking about a perfect team at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So a little bit early stream from Chris. So make sure you turn those notifications on, smash that like button, all that stuff. And we'll see you again real soon. Take it easy, folks.